Diddy's about to blow the Fed's case wide open by claiming that he was crazy the whole time.
We have a interesting defense that was possibly laid out by Sean Combs' attorneys, and it appears the defense wants to argue to the jury that Combs had a diminished mental capacity, meaning we're talking about a mental health defense, that he couldn't properly form the necessary criminal intent, we call it mens rea, to commit the offenses that he's charged with. More specifically, it seems Combs wants to call Dr. Elie G. Aoun, MD, an assistant professor of clinical psychiatry at Columbia University and forensic psychiatrist in New York City. Hopefully I'm pronouncing the doctor's last name correctly. I apologize if I'm not. But the government claims that Dr. Aoun didn't examine Combs, but looked at all these records. And what he plans to opine about is not 100% clear because so much is redacted and blacked out in the filings. However, there are references to whether a defendant is lucid or whether a defendant can control his behavior and volitional acts and, quote, evidence of the effects of drugs and alcohol on a defendant's memory or cognitive function. So is the idea that Combs was so heavily intoxicated that he didn't know what was going on, that he didn't have the proper criminal intent to commit these crimes?
What up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep sending those Cashapp to CLBMG. Join the membership gang. Listen, Diddy is preparing a defense, allegedly, called diminished mental capacity. And that means he was not able to be aware of the crimes that he was committing. He was unable to stop himself, allegedly. This is reported by the Sidebar News channel. And I want to get into this. He rejected the plea deal, the Fed's plea deal, for whatever time they offered. And I believe that Diddy thinks he's going to beat this case. Let's talk about it. I want to read from this article from the TMZ website, and we're going to have a conversation, all right? Diddy confirms he rejected a plea deal from prosecutors before his federal trial. Quote, "I don't cut deals with feds." Pretty defiant. Diddy got something up his sleeve. I don't know what it is. Maybe he think he going this crazy, I was mentally capacitated or whatever, is going to work. But let me continue. Diddy was back in court Thursday for one final hearing before his criminal trial. And as he told the judge, he rejected a plea deal presented to him by the federal prosecutors. The Bad Boy Records founder strolled into a Manhattan courtroom wearing a tan jumpsuit, looking gray and thin. Yeah, Diddy's grays apparently came back in. This is what happens when you 50 plus and you don't have nobody cutting, lining you up and trimming your mustache and putting that Just for Men in their hair and what they call that when they spray the little line on the front of your forehead. What they call that? I forgot what that's called. But yeah, when you ain't got all that, all the comforts of home, like, you know what I'm saying, all the luxuries of life, you might go gray, right? You know what I'm saying? And Diddy is showing, but he's resilient. He's in his jumpsuit. They said he was fist bumping and all this. Let me continue. Diddy was smiling and in good spirits, chatting with Tenny and Brian, and he was chummy and seemed unfazed by the upcoming trial. He waved to the public and the media seated in the gallery before taking a seat at the defense table between his two attorneys. The judge asked Diddy if he rejected a written plea deal from the government, and Diddy replied, "Yes, I did." They have not disclosed what the deal was, but whatever the deal was, Diddy did not take it. Diddy think he going home, gang. Diddy like, oh, I'm on my way home. Like he on some, listen, he in a Pixar cartoon, gang. He going home. Listen, Diddy was also asked if he was aware he would potentially serve more time in prison if he's convicted than if he took the plea deal. And Diddy told the judge he understood the stakes. A$AP Rocky just did the same thing. And a lot of us, including myself, thought he was crazy. And a lot of you were watching A$AP's trial and you knew that it was looking like he was going to beat it. But to the outside world who wasn't watching really closely and he didn't know that homeboy was telling a whole lot of lies, right? We didn't know that. We just looked at it like, bro, take that deal. I think they offered him like a couple months, right? And he would have had a record. A$AP said no, brought them babies to court, brought Rihanna to court, beat the trial. So Diddy don't got no Rihanna, but he got this defense, and I want to discuss that in a minute. But let me finish this article, okay? While we don't know what the prosecutors offer, typically they offer a sentence close to what the defendant will receive if convicted. Commonly, they don't expect the defendant to accept the deal. Instead, prosecutors are guarding against grounds for an appeal. If prosecutors didn't offer it, it could give Diddy a post-conviction argument that his attorneys didn't effectively represent his interests, and therefore he should get a new trial. So they offer you these deals just so you can't come back and get an appeal or get a new trial, and then they sitting in court trying to prove all this all over again. So they offered him a deal. It probably was trash. A lot of times they offer, in my opinion, they offer you a pretty decent deal when they don't want to go to trial at all. So I don't know if it was a good deal, bad deal, or Diddy just ain't trying to do nothing. He trying to take his lumps and get up out of there, skate scot-free, because he think he going this defense. And it's a lot of times time starts to heal these things, and they don't look as bad as they did a year ago, and they don't seem as awful once he starts spinning these different narratives, right? They are going to allow the Cassie video to be shown to the court, which they're saying, I believe they said the feds lost the original or something like that, and it was edited or something by some site or something. I don't know. But Diddy gonna have a lot of grounds to fight a lot of the stuff that we thought was very damning. But let me continue. Thursday's hearing also touched on jury selection, with the judge saying jury selection will begin Monday, May 5th, 8 a.m. sharp, with the goal of selecting a jury within 3 days. Diddy has not pled guilty to all 5 charges he's facing: 2 counts of sex trafficking, 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, and 1 count of racketeering. Now they're considering Diddy. They gave him a RICO. I don't know how you get a RICO as one person. They're gonna have to figure that out. If they messing up, we just saw Thug skate. We saw A$AP Rocky skate. Diddy might be the 3rd one, like in a row, like to just skate, because if they mess up and they charge him with a RICO and they're like, well, where the other underlings that he's supposed to be manipulating and this, that, and the third, it's going to be really difficult to have a RICO with no crew. You ain't got no team, da-da-da. But let's see. We all know that Diddy did these things, but now Diddy is going to try to make it like, yeah, I wasn't in my right state of mind. Let me continue. Prosecutors revealed last week that they offered Diddy a deal that was turned down, but this is the first time Diddy's acknowledged that himself. This may be the last time we see Diddy in a jail uniform. The judge is allowing him to wear button-down dress shirts, pants, and shoes without laces for his upcoming trial. So Diddy got this trial coming, and he's believing that they're saying that they think that he has this doctor who has not examined Diddy. All he's doing is looking at the evidence of what he has seen of the case, and he's making the let's just be honest, he's getting paid to make this assumption, but he's making this assumption that Diddy had a diminished mental capacity, which means he's not aware that he's committing crimes. They're trying to use it also that he was drunk. So now blaming on the alcohol, Diddy was drunk, he was abusing alcohol, and his capacity was diminished. So therefore, they're going to say, we can't really say what he did and did not do and what he was aware, because he doesn't have the wherewithal to control himself in these situations. Now, I don't know if that's a good defense, but maybe if they're trying to make it like it's a step down from insanity, right? If they're like, you're basically saying he was insane, that's going to be tough to sell. But if they feel like they got a case, maybe this stuff is so wild and egregious, maybe they're like, only an insane person would do these things that he's accused of. Maybe he did some stuff they haven't even released yet. I don't know. They just grasping at straws, gang. Let's just be honest. They swinging and they just throwing wild-ass haymakers. I don't know if he's going to beat this with any type of defense. Let's just be honest, because it's too much on him. They got to start. They probably looking for loopholes, and it's not a third. The diminished mental capacity in front of a jury, I don't think that's going to fly. I'm just going to be honest. I think that what's going to happen is they're going to have to cut that short right in the middle of the sentence, right in the middle of saying it, because people are going to look at him and then look back at the lawyer like they're gonna just shift and they see like, let me see, you really, this is what we doing? And he gonna be like, okay, that didn't work. Tomorrow we're gonna come back with something new. I don't think this whole he was mentally diminished gonna work. They're gonna need a lot of evidence to prove that. Now, if they could get him a couple of psychiatrists or psychologists or whatever you call them to examine him, and somehow conclusive 3 and 4 different ones say, okay, his capacity is diminished. Now we got a whole different case, right? Now we got a whole different, he almost like a mentally ill person up there, and they're gonna have to change the strategy of what we're trying to convict this mentally ill person of, right? If he can prove he has a mental illness, then it's a different ball game. I don't think they're gonna be able to prove that, but maybe they get up there and have Diddy confess some things that he don't want to confess. Maybe he says, I did this, I did that, but it was because of XYZ and I can't control it. I don't know what's wrong with me. Your Honor, please help me, and start crying. I don't know what's going to happen on that trial, but it sounds like to me Diddy's gearing up to say, it wasn't me, or on some Shaggy, right? It wasn't me, right? He getting up there to say, I don't remember, I don't recall. And if I did do it, I wasn't in my right frame of mind. I don't think that's going to work. I'm just going to be honest. But they probably have more defenses. They probably going to chop down all those witnesses one by one. They're going to chop down Cassie first. They're going to say, well, you was a willing participant. You wanted to get these men just as much as he wanted you to get them. And he probably got a bunch of text messages from Cassie when she was in the mix. He probably saved a bunch of videos where allegedly they used to strike each other. Let's say that. I don't know if this is true or not, but people are coming out saying they was back and forth. It wasn't a one-sided thing like we thought. So I don't know. I do not believe that. But it could be that they had a toxic thing going on. That don't give him the right to stomp her and kick her like he did. So you still gonna have a problem with that. Now they gotta prove the racketeering, this and that and the third. Somebody's going to be like, okay, who did he racketeer? They bring that person in, be like, oh, who did he sex traffic? Well, bring him in. Like, I went willingly. That's going to start falling apart if they get too many of those. So they're going to have a lot to prove that this was trafficking and this was racketeering and this was prostitution. So it's like, even if they basically making it like, if we don't get you on the sex trafficking, we'll get you on the prostitution. Because if she came and you paid her, either way. So they really trying to line him up, and they offering him the deal. But him not taking it means he thinks he can beat this. I don't know, man. Let me know what you think. We got a long way to go. This trial just started. This could take a minute, gang. But let me know what you think in the comments about this diminished mental capacity. Do you feel that that's any type of thing that's going to even remotely work in this case? Or is Diddy just grasping at straws? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Head on over to the sponsors, man. black-yeti.com. Check them out. See what they got going on. They always got something good. They ship all over the country. Make sure you watch the What Show every Wednesday night. 9:15, we go live on 8 different social media platforms. We had a blast last week, had a blast this week, and we'll be back next week. Make sure you check that out. And we got a lot more stuff coming up, more announcements coming up. I got another live show that I'm working on. It's going to be outside of the water. It's a second live coming up. So listen, man, just pay attention. We about to keep moving, gang. I appreciate y'all. Catch you on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.